Hello everyone and welcome to the New Hits, where I cover brand new top 40 entries, judging their quality and how much longevity I think they'll have. Today, just as I predicted last week, we have two massive debuts to speak of amongst a small, primarily country-based selection of breakthrough hits. Without further ado, let's begin with... This marks the first top 40 entry for country singer Russell Dickerson, who's currently working through his second album cycle. This song is a bit of a weird one. The hook is anchored by the phrase, "I don't love you like I used to," which Dickerson spins from its traditionally negative context to have it mean something along the lines of, "I love you even more now," a concept which falls a bit flat for me, mostly because I can't get over the original meaning of the phrase. It's a good idea, albeit a bit generic, but one that fails in execution. The song is pretty standard modern country rock with a solo noticeably reminiscent of his previous big hit Yours, plain again but pleasant enough. Looking beyond the content of the song, its biggest issue is Dickerson's failings as a performer. He's putting his all into it, but his voice manages to hit that sweet spot between painfully generic and oddly unfitting that seriously puts me off and forces any good aspects of the track out of my periphery. Could have been better with a different performer, but as it stands, not good at all. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. Poor. I think this one will have a good chart run. It's only been on the Hot 100 for about a month and a half, so I think it'll have a decent stretch of country radio ahead of it. Now for... The ones that hate me the most look just like me. After the smash success he had earlier this year with What's Poppin' and its remix, where now only half of the artists on it deserve support, I was wondering what Jack Harlow would do to follow a song like that up. Such a huge success from a previous no-name could end up consigning someone to one-hit wonder status. See Lil Tecca and most likely Arizona's Zervis for recent examples. All three have had catchy top 5 rap hits that were everywhere. With this, though, Jack Harlow has gotten one up on both with his second top 40 entry, and I'm pretty conflicted on how I feel about this one. On one hand, Harlow himself is still great at what he does, flowing well over the beat and dropping some pretty quality punchlines. However, my issues here come with the beat, which on a critical level is good, but just doesn't pertain to my taste at all. Maybe this is the kind of stuff Jack Harlow made before, I wouldn't know, but I was expecting more high-energy fun and came out disappointed. The song feels lethargic in comparison to What's Poppin'. While I can see this growing on me, for now I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Okay. I feel like it might be too soon to call the chart prospects of this one. Personally, I don't think it'll go too far. It'll stick around for a little while, but won't make any serious challenge for a year-end list, and this will probably be its peak. Next, let's get into the two Luke Combs tracks. Some things just go better together. So, as probably the biggest name in country music at the moment, I wasn't too surprised to see Luke Combs get a minor album bomb. Country has slowly been building in a streaming presence with acts like Combs and Morgan Wallen, who also recently made a top 10 breakthrough, and a country album bomb is really only a matter of time. Here's one of two Luke Combs songs I need to talk about, a cut from the original project that's now being pushed as a single. This, in contrast to a lot of Combs' work, is a piano ballad. It's about his love for his significant other, comparing how well they work together with other classic couplings, country cliches obviously making up a few of those. Unlike many other so-called checklist songs, this song does genuinely feel sincere, Luke Combs' voice having a perfect amount of grit to match well with the beautiful spare instrumentation. Any caveat this song has comes within the writing, as there are a couple questionable lines, perhaps most notably when he talks about his guitar in one of the few songs he isn't using it in. Regardless, this song is a true heartwarmer, sold well. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Great. This track, as opposed to the one higher than it, is being pushed as a single, so I'm giving it lots of time to grow, though whether it'll beat this album-boosted peak or not will have to be seen. They say nothing lasts forever. And now, the other big Luke Combs song, the one that dared to challenge a lead single from Ariana Grande, and if radio was taken out of the picture, likely would have won. This, a more recent song from after when Combs got married, is also a love song for his SO, this time with fuller country ballad instrumentation and lyrics describing how things never seem to last forever, but Combs' love for his wife makes him question that statement. It's a cliche sentiment, but just like Better Together, Combs absolutely sells it with a passionate vocal performance. One edge it does have over that song is that it focuses far more on the relationship than it does, but I'd put these tracks fairly toe-to-toe. They're similar songs that both excel in a handful of different ways, and I can pick one over the other depending on my mood. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that I give this the same score, 8 out of 10. Great. This one isn't being pushed as a single like Better Together is, so it'll probably drop off pretty quickly and linger in the lower end of the chart like fellow country Top 10 Seven Summers did. And finally, the big pop debut. Positions feels like a bit of an oddity among Grande's lead-off singles, which have established themselves to be either big bombastic showstoppers or deeply personal and introspective. Well, this is neither. It's a pretty low-key R&B sex jam. While I still haven't gotten around to listening to the album to compare, don't worry, I'll have to for next week. I'm still uncertain if this title track was the best possible single choice, but in terms of quality, I'll still take it. Ariana's vocals continue to improve, though definitely in the verses more than the hook, and the more sultry delivery fits the content, where Ariana sings about how flexible she can be in a relationship with a heaping spoonful of innuendo. The trap-influenced beat is better suited here than in, say, Seven Rings. My biggest issue with the song, really, is how ultimately uninteresting it seems. Ariana's music has always had some compelling details to it, but this track just feels like she's coasting. Ariana Grande coasting, though, is still Ariana Grande, so this song still turns out to be a 7 out of 10. Good. Positions will hold the number 1 spot next week with the album, but said album's longevity is being brought into question with each passing day, so unless radio picks up, this cut probably won't be lasting as long as her Thank You Next hits. So, that's our week. Varied in quality across the board, but in that regard, Luke Combs' ballads definitely stole the show. Next week, Ariana Grande album bomb time. I'll probably need to talk about at least half of the project, plus hits from Bad Bunny and possibly Dua Lipa making breakthroughs. Until next time, see you on the next episode of The New Hits.